some massive games all around the country as far as this relegation shake-up is concerned, and we're blessed by sunshine currently, but it's been a fascinating game so far, and it's been played on a fantastic cricket wicket.
It has. There's been a bit there for everybody, and I think. Oh, apologies! I'm coming out the computer now. That's good news, though. It means we're working. Yeah, I think any lead on here is a good lead, really. Now, from a batting point of view, Surrey will want to be batting at least for another hour this morning and try and get that lead up to 120, 130, ideally 150, but that will take some batting. Somerset will be looking to knock Surrey over in the first hour this morning, keep that lead down and then get themselves enough, because chasing on here is not going to be in the final inning straightforward, is it?
Well, it isn't. And the lead currently at 59 is handy, to say the least. In terms of how many runs Somerset have to play with, not many more. I think they need to get it done in the first hour to give themselves a chance of really clambering home in this contest if Surrey to bat the first hour. If they're batting at lunchtime, and it really would be hard work.
Or if Surrey was still batting at lunchtime,
and there's a chance with Sangakkara out there.
There is a chance.
Still batting to come.
There is a I don't think it will be straightforward, though.
No,
I really don't. Especially first up this morning with what we've seen. Although we've seen that the mornings have probably been the best time to bat. I thought what was very shrewd, and I spoke to Ollie Pope last night and he mentioned it, was Sangakkara and Pope knowing the new ball was coming and cashing in before that new ball came. And Ollie Pope last night was just saying it's the first time he's batted with Sangakkara in Championship cricket. He said he had half an hour with him in a one-day game and just said it was a fantastic experience to be out there with Sangakkara, who makes his way to the middle now with Ricky Clark, and Somerset are out there. It looks like Peter Trigo, the pick of the bowlers so far, will get us started from the Vauxhall end. You can of course get in touch with us all in the commentary box at Stephen Lamb 165, at Johnny Barron, at Back and a number of people in this morning, already in the pavilion. Strong breeze going across the ground, and as I say, Peter Trigo has the ball in his hand.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Churchy, because I think no many hours or no number of hours of coaching, of preparation, all that is fantastic, but actually the ability or the opportunity to bat up close with an icon who scored 25,000 international runs, we can't even put a price on that experience, can you?
It's easy to spot these things. It's another matter
in
doing
a pressure situation.
Yeah, but it's another matter actually being able to do it. So 3:28 for 6. Sangakkara 119. Not out will be the man on strike. The lead is 59. There are 3 slips in there. There's a sweeper straight away on the cover boundary. There's the extra cover mid-off, mid-on. Deep backward square and the long leg. Peter Trigo, right arm over the wicket to Sangakkara. First ball of the day on a length, just nips back a touch. And Sangakkara allows it to pass into the gloves of Stephen Davis, moving away to his left-hand side. Sam Curran going late last night. Quite wonderful catch from Craig Overton. And I heard Mr. Lamb's interview with Peter Trigo last night, and that catch was mentioned. It helps having long arms, he said. In over the wicket comes Trigo to Sangakkara. Lets this one go outside his off stump, and being 8'5". Still took some catching though, didn't it, from Craig Overton? Yeah, Trigo yesterday, the definite pick of the bowlers yesterday, although all the Somerset bowlers bowled well. As the flags flutter, it is the strongest breeze today. You can see the Somerset flag there on top of the pavilion, the Union Jack, the Surrey flag. Over the wicket comes Trigo, and on a length outside the off stump, Sangakkara just shoulders arms to this. Again taken by Davis away to his left.
And these are opportunities, though. If you're a player like Peter Trigo, who's equipped with both skills, but there's more reliance these days on his batting than his bowling, you almost relish the opportunity, don't you?
Well, he said that last night, because Stephen said to him, you haven't bowled quite as much as you have before. Now it sounded like he wanted to, but he just hasn't. As over the wicket comes Trigo, swings that one back. Forward goes Sangakkara solidly, pushing this one out towards extra cover, and there's no run. Sorry, I'm smiling to myself because I've just seen the advert for Borg McEnroe, the film. I've not seen it before.
Thoughts?
Well, yes.
I tell you what, Borg looks quite convincing.
Yeah, LeBeouf as McEnroe. Over the wicket comes Trigo. This one's left alone outside the off stump by Sangakkara, and into the gloves it goes of Stephen Davis, away to his left hand side.
Is McEnroe?
Shavir. Oh no, Shia LaBeouf.
Ah,
Yeah. The other
not the Chelsea defender.
No, not Frank. That'd be amazing, wouldn't it? Wow. Frank LaBeouf. No. Over the wicket once more comes Trigo, turned by Sangakkara into the leg side. Rolls up towards mid-on. There's no run. End of the over. 3:28 for 6. I do apologise, everybody. It was just that on my drive in this morning, I was listening to 5 Live, and they were discussing Raging Bull because, of course, the news yesterday in the world of sport that the Motor had sadly passed away, played by Robert De Niro. But that came up in conversation, and I'd not realised they were making a film. It was like the Senna Prost one, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, that was immense.
Hunt's Prost, that was great, wasn't it?
Well, the one I saw about Senna was
A
video
documentary.
that's fair enough.
The Hunt. No, that was good. The Hunt Prost one, I enjoyed it a lot.
I
Yeah,
guess with
good.
car racing,
It
you've
was
got
great.
a chance because of the,
It just
anybody can turn a reel. can't they?
We've done this before, but let's do this today for anybody who's, to the dear listener out there. So we're seeing that, and it's made me sort of smile to myself. But which film stars would you have playing cricketers? Which film stars?
No, we've been there.
Yeah, but
before.
it's a good one.
It is.
3:28 for 6, and it's Craig Overton from the pavilion end coming in over the wicket to Ricky Clark. 2 tall men go head to head, and Clark lets the first one go outside his off stump. It doesn't really bounce, and it's taken by Davis moving away to his right.
I mean, the handy thing with cricket, interestingly, there are a few quite high calibre film stars who can play a bit.
Yes, but they've got to look a little bit like the.
No, I know. So Damien Lewis, as an example.
Ben Stokes.
Ben Stokes, and I think he was 12th man for Eton at Eton Harrow.
As this one's left alone outside the off stump by Clark. That's going to make absolutely no difference if he plays Ben Stokes in a film, though.
No, but at least he's got a slight. He must have some cricket pedigree. You don't walk onto the field of the hallowed turf at Lords. Well, even as 12th man.
But how, with LeBeouf there, how many times has he played on grass at Wimbledon? That's the question. 3:28 for 6 as over the wicket comes Overton. Good one. Back of a length, climbs. Clark plays at that. Morning still nipping around, and Sangakkara wanders down to have a quiet word.
2 words.
Yes.
Paul Bettany.
Brilliant. I really enjoyed that film. That came up in
but he
5
really
as well.
I mean, they didn't know what to do because he had no ability
but you know
whatsoever.
who trained him? Pat Cash.
Yeah, but still.
3:28
You
for
can't
6.
just...
The only thing about that film that I thought wasn't really quite right, as over the wicket comes Overton, that climbs again off a length. Whew, that has taken off, and well left by the tall figure of Clark. Was if you watch that film, when Bettany jumps in his convertible, whatever it is, there is no traffic in London at any point, and he always just pulls up and parks straight away outside wherever he needs to go. 3:28 for 6. Which film stars would you have playing cricketers? Over the wicket comes Overton. That's hitting the thigh guard of Clark as it nips back. It's a good start this from Overton, and there is still enough there to keep you very, very honest as a batsman at the moment. It's great because you can score runs on there. We've seen that. Still say Somerset, if you win the toss and bat first here, whatever happens, you need 300. Under par. Surrey have got over 300. There's also batting points still available. 6 overs left after this one as Overton is in to Clark, and Clark's looking to force off the back foot as it just bounces on him again. 2 maidens this morning. That comes off the toe end of the bat, rolls behind him. 328 for 6. So
yeah, the batting points will be useful because if it does, it's likely to be tight, isn't it? With the permutations that are available in the next couple of weeks, heavy point is likely to be absolutely critical. Having said that, whether Surrey would gamble on the 22 that they need for the next batting point inside 6 overs, I think they'll probably get there naturally without busting a guard.
It's going to be Trigo.
Body line
below.
Church. Wasn't some.
Yeah, that wasn't great either.
It was a tremendous series.
Yeah, it was, but
cricket was a bit.
Over the wicket once more comes Trigo, then to Sangakkara, and first runs of the day for Sangakkara. They got the man out at deep backward square. He just turns the bat on this, and that rolls out towards Byron at deep backward square. They'll take a single. Sangakkara moves on to 120, and Surrey moving on to 329 for 6.
Yeah, Larwood didn't look that threatening, did he, in that particular TV adaptation? It was a good. Did Sam Neill play one of the actors?
I think he was in it somewhere. Yeah.
I thought it was great. It came out, of course, in '85, Church, didn't it? It was on that
same
wonderful
time.
year. Yeah.
Trigo. Over the wicket he comes to Ricky Clark, all-rounder to all-rounder, and Clark is forward solidly, pushing Trigo up towards mid-off, and there's no run. I think what you're going to see this morning as well from Somerset, and they've started very nicely, is no runs. Don't leak runs. Yeah,
it's a cat and mouse situation, this, because Surrey are wary if they can just get through a period of time. Batting will start to become easier. Somerset looking to bowl dry, which they have done so far.
Turns below us to Trigo, wearing number 7. Over the wicket he comes to Clark. Clark, hello, now that's kept low. Ricky Clark's gone back to that, and it's shot at him, and he's had to drop the bat on that. You know, this is what's going to happen more and more. We're only in the 3rd over of the morning, and that one did keep low. So you sort of say to yourself, any sort of lead on here is good, because batting last on here will not be straightforward, will it?
Yeah, but I think, to be honest, the innings of this that will decide this game will be the 3rd innings.
Over the wicket then comes Trigo, and this is turned by Clark, leg side, in there towards mid-wicket, and there's no run.
That will be slightly dictated, of course, as to how Surrey go about things this morning. But the pressure will be on Somerset, A, to get up to parity, and B, to put something workable on the board, and that will not be easy.
Trigo marches back towards us once more.
Plenty of time left in the game.
Oh, well,
extra overs
2
today.
days. 2 days left. 104 overs today, of course. This one's whipped leg side by Ricky Clark, and he'll get his first runs of the day. 2 of them just nip back because we're making up for a bit of time that we lost yesterday for the bad light. So we were 104 today. Throw comes in. What a throw that is.
Wow. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I was looking at that and thinking, is that like a normal thing? Because that's a flick of the wrist, and that has gone just miles. How do you do that?
Must be fun to do that.
It would take me 3 or 4 goes to go that far.
Yeah, and my shoulder would have gone by now. Trigo, over the wicket he comes to Clark. Clark's forward nicely. Right-hander, of course, Ricky Clark, and pushes this one out into the offside, and there's no run. End of the over, 3:31 for 6. Sangakkara 120. Clark has 3. There's a chat out there in the middle between Messrs Clark and Sangakkara. Oh, Henry. Now, I see where JP Samuels has gone with this. So Henry, I never know how to say his surname, Carville, is it? Who played Superman in the remake, to be Alistair Cook, and he's actually sent a picture. It's very good, actually, isn't it? Yeah, it's the jaw.
Yeah,
I think
I was
thinking
about the Welsh chap.
Oh yes,
from Titanic, who was then in Fabulous 4 or Famous 4, Fantastic 4.
Oh, him.
I thought he'd be
Reef something.
Yeah,
he'd be good.
Evans as Cook.
As Cook. Interesting. Yeah. 3:31 for 6.
Bit more senior.
Yeah.
Might have to get the Grecian out.
Well, look at LeBeuf. 2 slips on the gully.
Well, it's not Frank.
I wish it was, though. But think if they got their LeBeufs modelled up. Over the wicket comes Craig Overton from the pavilion end, and this is left alone by Sangakkara climbing into the gloves.
To be fair to Frank
Davis,
LeBeuf, he played the pivotal doctor in the, what was that film? on Stephen Hawkins.
Did he?
Yeah.
I thought Cantona was the actor.
No, Frank LaBeouf was in that.
Was he?
Yeah, absolutely.
I never knew that.
He's been in a couple of big films.
Has he? Over the wicket comes Overton. Sangakkara cuts out towards the cover point. He'll get a single. They've got the sweeper out there. One more to Sangakkara with a flick of the wrists. He moves on to 121. 332 for 6. Yeah, I'm trying to think of famous actors or actresses now that could be part of the cricketing story.
Well, you've got Crow.
Yeah.
Cousin of.
Yeah.
I'm not sure
how. Who would he play? I think because years ago, you see, and then Tom Hardy jumped in ahead of us. We were thinking about doing a film for the 81 Ashes, weren't we? As in, over the wicket comes Overton and looking to pull his Ricky Clark. That hits the thigh guard. Rolls away. Leg byes will be the signal. One more to the total. And I think we
has it been done?
No. Oh, yeah. They did a documentary style thing with Hardy's voiceover.
Oh, yeah, no, that was brilliant. Alongside,
really
came out at the similar time.
Yeah.
Babylon, The Fires of Babylon.
Right, yes. 333 for 6. But I think we had Crow playing both them with a wig on, from memory. Overton is into Sangakkara, who's forward, pushes this one out towards extra cover, and there is no run. 333 for 6, Surrey.
Oh, this is going over conversations of ours from 5 or 6 years ago, isn't
well, yeah, Darren, everything comes around.
Well, of course it does.
They say that sport is secular. It's the same with commentary, really.
Exactly.
You always end up talking about the same things. Oh, brilliant. JP Samuels loves this. He's just said the lad who played Draco in Harry Potter is Stuart Broad, is looking to drive his Sangakkara. That nips back and rolls to backward point, and there is no run. I thought that was Stuart Broad, JP Samuels. Tom Felton, who played Draco in Harry Potter as Stuart Broad. That is brilliant from you. I suppose Carville as well could play Tremlett. I'm just looking at Carville there. He could play Tremlett because he probably has to bulk himself up for the old Superman role, doesn't he? In over the wicket once again is Overton, looking to pull his Sangakkara, and it's gone past the outside edge. And look at Overton. Just kicks the ground in frustration. He went past the outside edge all day yesterday, and he's gone past the outside edge this morning. He started beautifully this morning as Craig Overton. Just a single off the bat from Overton. 333 for 6, Surrey. Sangakkara 121. Clark has 3.
Yeah, just 5 added this morning in a space of 50 minutes. I mean, the difficulty is the greatest cricket film of all time has already been made, which is Lagan, which is a one, and the story behind it. Do you know the story behind it?
I don't, but you're going to tell me.
There's a wonderful book called From Balham to Bollywood. So Lagan is set in Imperial India in around about the 1870s, I think. I'll come on to it in a second.
Trigo from the Vauxhall end over the wicket to Ricky Clark. Clark forward. Be aware of the one that nipped and kept a bit low on him in the last over. He pushes this up towards Abel at mid-on, and there's no run.
Where the freedom, I think, of a principality in India depends on whether the locals can beat the English army at a game of cricket. And all the actors that play all the English characters in this Bollywood film all come from a cricket club in Balham.
Over the wicket comes Trigo. That's short and wide, and Clark's just stood up on the front foot and driven it for our first boundary of the day. It's come off the toe end of his bat, but it's fairly raced off to the short cover boundary. Our first boundary today. Clark's on to 7. Lots of experience with the bat out there at the moment. 337 for 6, Surrey. So
all the actors are jobbing actors, you know, they'd be in the likes of the Bill and various stage productions at the Old Vic, but they all have to troop off to Lord's for a casting, get selected on a combination of ability and all the rest of it.
Over the wicket once again comes Trigo to Clark, who's turning this about middle and leg down towards long leg. He'll take a single as the throw comes in. Clark moves on to 8. 338 for 6. So.
They then find themselves, those that are lucky in the casting, going out to India for this Bollywood movie, which is one of the biggest budget films in the history of Bollywood. And it's the shoot takes around about sort of 5 months out in the searing heat of the desert.
Over the wicket once more comes Trigo, left alone again by Sangakkara outside his off.
Is an enormous global smash, and all these guys become sort of household names in India when they would be completely unrecognisable unless you're watching various sort of minor sitcom roles and things like that over here in the UK. But there's this book that charts that the entire experience called From Balham to Bollywood, and it is a wonderful, wonderful read. Highly recommended.
Yeah, 3:38 for 6 as Tree goes into Sangakkara, who's forward, pushing a good length ball back up the pitch. Well,
the film's brilliant. The film is fantastic.
Thank you to Mark on Twitter, at Backing Across, at Johnny Barron, at Lamb 165, Tom Felton as well to play Stuart Broad. Eddie the Bar Steward says Dolph Lundgren to play Tremlett. Can see where you've come from. And Rupert Grint, yeah, to play Johnny Bairstow. That's very good from...
he does play cricket, but I think he's appalling.
Over the wicket comes Trigo. I think you haven't really got the idea of this, Baron, as this is left alone outside the off stump by Sangakkara. 8 for 6. It's not whether they can play cricket or not.
No, but I think it's just for the action scenes. It is important to have some ability.
Well, we'll wait to see. Maybe LeBeouf was a junior tennis star or something.
He could be. Well, the guy who plays Borg, and they're very clever. The snippets I've seen in those trailers, it looks very authentic, and I assume this is based around a combination of the rivalry and, of course, that epic tie break and all the rest of it. I mean, what an incredible era it was between those two. Borg, of course, retired at 25, 26.
I don't know, Baron. 3:38 for 6. Craig Overton from the pavilion end is in, and this one's left alone outside the off stump by Ricky Clark. Again, lovely line, lovely length from Craig Overton.
McEnroe went on a little further. I think he retired when he was about 33.
Have you got any stats on those two? Historical moments on
well,
those two that
I think
correct?
McEnroe 3 times Wimbledon winner, Borg 5 or 6.
Yes, after your performance last night. Craig Overton, over the wicket he comes to Clark. Clark again, he's sort of getting forward to this. It nips back. Overton at the moment is bowling beautifully. Ricky Clark in the back of his mind will have how he bowled against Yorkshire here and didn't get a wicket. And Craig Overton, wow, he'll bowl worse than this and get 7.
That leads 69 runs. Think how hard it is to get those.
Waits again. There's Ricky Clark. Overton into him. Short. Clark hooks top edge over the slips and down to the boundary rope for 4. So first one that was banged in by Overton. Clark's looking for the short leg side boundary. Top edge flew over the slips, and Hildreth has to come down below us to retrieve the ball.
I don't think, to be honest, I don't think Surrey will mind the short delivery at all, because it's an opportunity to through the arms. The areas that Overton were operating on before that.
Probably Overton's thinking, look, I'm in a beautiful line of length there. He's not nicking anything. I'm going to bang one in. At least he might nick it. Over the wicket comes Overton again. Another short one pulled by Clark for 4. Yeah, this is frustration as much as anything, I think, from Overton. You sort of understand it. And Clark is just standing up tall on that and just pulling it away off to that short mid-wicket boundary rope for 4 runs. Clark on to 16. Again, Ricky Clark, what a great man to have coming in at number 8.
Well, useful.
In these situations.
Well, he's staring down the barrel of 10,000 first class runs.
He is. He is indeed.
Oh, that's a lot of runs for number 8.
He's got his 400 first class wickets now, has Ricky Clark. As he waits again over his bat. Sorry, 4 runs away from another batting point. Nips back. Height will be an issue. Good delivery again from Overton. The cricketing gods Overton will be thinking, what do I have to do? And it rolls down into the gully and there's no run.
Oh, it's been a good over this, hasn't it? A couple of short balls, both dispatched. One rather fortuitously, one authentically, and then the fuller length delivery darting back.
Oh, I quite like this. James Garner in his Rockford Files days, do you remember?
Oh, yeah.
Playing Jimmy Anderson. See where I see where you've gone there, Matt. That's very good from you, sir. As in over the wicket once again. Oh, it's Overton. Oh, poor lad. What does he have to do? He has cut Ricky Clark in half here, and it's gone over the top of middle of the leg, and he just takes his jumper from umpire Gould. Does Craig Overton. wanders off down towards long leg. I think Tom Abel's trying to just keep encouraging him, but I don't think Overton wants to speak to anybody at the moment. I don't blame him. And he just marches off down there towards long leg. He's bowled beautifully this morning. He's bowled beautifully in this game. Just hasn't had the luck, really. And it does happen. But again, that ball's done quite a bit.
Cracky delivery.
Trigo from the Vauxhall end comes over the wicket to Sangakkara, who's pushing into the offside. Quick singles taken. Wonderful bit of work in there at short extra cover. Overton's back in the game because he's got to back up here, and he hurls the ball at Stephen Davis. One more to Sangakkara. Good running from Sangakkara and Clark. And Sangakkara moves on to 122.
Couple of things.
Yes.
James Garner. Of course, he played the fixer in The Great Escape.
Yes.
What a role that was. But also, I know he's getting on a bit, but we can't really have a sports film developed in this country without Michael Caine in it, can we?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Struggling a little.
Who would it? A young Caine?
Oh,
Yeah, sort of thinking Zulu.
oh yes. Absolutely.
Get Carter over the wicket.
Violent Caine.
Comes Trigo and driven by Ricky Clark, and Trigo, it's come straight down the pitch. Trigo has tried to deflect the ball back at the stumps, and I think he's knocked the bat out of Sangakkara's hand at the non-striker's end.
What could have happened there, Church? Would have been a very unique occasion in cricket. Had Sangakkara been out of his ground, that had hit Trigo's hand, then ricocheted off the back onto the stumps, it would have been out.
Yeah, he would have been.
He isn't, by the way.
No, because it didn't.
But that scenario was available for a split second.
Over the wicket comes Trigo to Clark. Clark's in behind a shorter one, pushing it back up the pitch towards mid-on, and there's no run. Yes, so there you go. Well, I tell you who he could play. A young Caine from Zulu, Get Carter and Alfie days, Joe Root. Could do, couldn't he? That's a good shout from me, I reckon. Because, you know, of the modern cricketers...
Who does John Walk play?
Let me think about Walk. Well, you could play the Merv Hughes on holiday role at the moment, couldn't he? Over the wicket once more comes Trigo. In behind a short one goes Clark. Plays this back up the pitch, and there's no. What a film!
Stallone and Pele, were they?
What a film that was.
That's that. Okay, the guy on the back. That is a great film.
Oh, Delays,
isn't it?
Well, the best bit's when Pele comes back on.
Well, exactly. Well, the beauty of that was actually having some decent football.
But it's that one shot of the slow motion scissor kick from Pele from all sorts of different angles. Oh, it's magnificent.
The Stallone save was a good one.
Oh, it was.
Well. Yes. So he had to do a lot to get across to that.
347 for 6. Yes, that wasn't. Well, it was. Yes. Over the wicket is Trigo. To Clark, swings that one back, and Clark is forward, pushing this one back up the pitch, and there's no. And apologies to everybody. That the reason this has got into my head, and I've thrown it out there, is that I just, while I went on to the scorecard, saw the trailer for this new tennis film about Borg and McEnroe, which got me thinking about with sort of current players, which actors would you have playing them? And as I say, I think a young Michael Caine would be tremendous as Joe Root. Really. That works for me. 347 for 6. Any suggestions? Let us have them. As over the wicket comes Trigo, and driven by Ricky Clark into the turf and up again, straight into extra cover, and there's no one. Elsewhere, Lancashire have lost a couple at Lords. Lancashire are 52 for 3 now.
Well, they still need 170 odd?
Yep, another 169. Chandra Paul still there. Hamid still there. Finn 3 for 12.
Looks a lot. I mean, judging if 2 weeks ago is anything to go by, that looks a lot of runs.
It does, yeah.
It
absolutely
really does.
They haven't started yet down at the Aegeus Bowl, I don't think, because of light.
How come Lords has got spicy all of a sudden?
Yeah.
Usually flat as a pancake over there.
Over the wicket then is Craig Overton to Sangakkara. Sangakkara's forward, pushes this one back up the pitch. Rings.
Well, I guess they would have wanted... Middlesex would have wanted a result surface, but they don't.
Well, they're going to get
either way. Got one, but they don't normally get their way, do they?
No. Well, they have
on the basis they don't have the curator.
Maybe they're playing it on the nursery ground. 347 for 6. Over the wicket comes Craig Overton. Forward goes Sangakkara. Looking to nudge leg side, I think, here. And pushes it away. Overton keeping going here, but I don't blame the lad. He's a bit frustrated at the moment.
Oh, 78. He's not got away from Somerset, but just to some extent this morning's a microcosm of what is to come, in that to get those runs, just to get up to parity, would be a terrific effort.
Yeah, that lead at the moment is 78 for Surrey. Over the wicket comes Overton to Sangakkara. It's a great shot. It's not that short, but Sangakkara's just stood up big, pulled it through mid-wicket, and Surrey will sneak another batting point here in the last over, because that's over their open away for 4, and in the last over you're allowed your batting point. Surrey sneak another one. 351 for 6.
So he could be vital in the shake-up. All the bonus points could be absolutely critical. We'll obviously have a better feeling for how things lie at the conclusion of this round of games, but it's going to be nip and tuck. If there are 5 sides in it, Churchy, there's going to be nip and tuck.
Turns again. Craig Overton, round the wicket he comes. Sangakkara forward, driving. Good looking shot again from Sangakkara. Very well fielded. In there at short extra cover. Bartlett, I think that is. Very, very good bit of fielding from him.
Well, that a yard either side, and that's a back-to-back boundaries for Sangakkara. What a terrific effort.
Yeah, so this, the 110th, the last over.
Yeah, lead up to 82.
You're allowed them.
100 plus. Potentially.
Overton. Round the wicket he comes again to Kumar Sangakkara. That's short, and it's pulled by Sangakkara in front of square out towards deep mid-wicket. They'll get 2. Sangakkara moves on to 128, 353 for 6. And I just think, and I understand it with Craig Overton here, this is as much frustration as anything. You must get to the point that if you're hitting the right length and getting the ball to nip around and nobody's hitting it and you're cutting batsmen in half, he must have that feeling I have somewhere. I don't know whether you ever do it. You just shout "why" at the top of your voice to nobody in particular. As driving is Sangakkara for 4. Slower ball, and Sangakkara just drives for 4, and I think he's just lost patience here, Overton. He's lost his patience, and Sangakkara, obviously a genius to jump all over it, spot the opportunity. End of the over, I'm off. 357 for 6. Still looking for your actors to play the modern cricketer as well, if you want to send those over. And Mr. Lamb is coming in to join Johnny Barrett.
Yes, indeed. 357 for 6. That lead, 88. Sangakkara still going very nicely indeed. 132. Ricky Clark with a hugely valuable 16 thus far. Every run at this stage, of course, critical in the context of this game and, of course, the season. Peter Trigo will continue from the Vauxhall end. Ricky Clark is the man on strike. Here is Peter Trigo. Pulls up. Not happy about something. Well, I think Craig Overton is going to come into a gully position. There's a backward point, extra cover, mid on, mid off, mid wicket, and then a fine leg stroke deep square. Here is Trigo into Clark, who's outside the off stump, and there's no run. Stephen, good morning.
Morning, Johnny.
Well, here we go again, and another fascinating day in prospect.
Yeah, hasn't started very well for Somerset, though, has it?
Well, they've had a good I think Surrey have capitalised. Very slow start to kick off with. They picked up a little bit. Here is Trigo into Clark, who leaves alone outside the off stump. 88 the lead, but they're still potentially manageable here, but it would take some fireworks at the top of the order. Trescothick, of course, looked in terrific touch, didn't he, with that 65 in the first innings. It was done by a quicker, fuller ball from Batty. I think Somerset have got to look at the way in which this new ball has gone through the course of the game. Here is Trigo to Clark, who defends to extra cover, and there's no run. In that, they got to 96 for the fall of the first wicket. Surrey got to 97, and they'll be thinking, well, if that pattern continues, they could be able to knock the lead off before they've potentially lost any resources. That I guess has to be the mindset later on.
The problem they've got, I've been sitting behind the bowler's arm for a while. I'll come back to it.
Here is Trigo again, is into Clark. Oh, beautiful shot off the back foot. Absolutely stunning. Just stood tall and just slotted it through extra cover. Lovely batting from Ricky Clark. He goes up to 20, score on to 361 for 6.
The ball at the moment is doing nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
The batting conditions, I think, at the moment are as good as they've been.
Yes, which may hold firm through the course of the the day. Yeah, deep extra now being posted out of extra cover.
Just watching it at either end. Just absolutely straight.
Gun barrel.
Nothing.
Yes, we're slightly to the right of the square here, so we've got a fantastic view. But it's difficult to see the discernible movement. Here is Trigo, left alone by Ricky Clark. Well, he's a handy player, Ricky Clark, to have a man of this calibre coming in at number 8. He's not shy of 10,000 runs. There can't be many number 8s in the domestic game with just on the verge of 10,000 first-class runs. It's a stunning effort.
Lancashire 59 for 4 at Lords.
Ooh. Yeah, that looks a big chase. Here is Trigo. It's into Clark. It's a half volley. It's driven to backward point, and there's no run. End of the over. 361 for 6. Sangakkara will resume strikers on 132. Clark 20, and that lead, it's probably the key figure of all, is 92.
My colleague Anthony Gibson tweeted last night, "Go Lancashire, the Red Rose forever."
Well, it would be, judging, I mean, I don't think I've seen batting conditions as hazardous as I witnessed in that Lord's Test. What was it, 2 weeks ago? Honestly, I have no idea how you score runs in situations like that. The ball was zipping off the pitch, swinging round corners. And of course, clearly they got a similar surface, and a chase of 200 plus, almost impossible in the fourth.
I'm afraid Lancashire aren't going, I'm sorry to have to say, to Somerset supporters. Another tweet from Roy Pearson, "The planets are not aligning well for Somerset survival." I think that's correct as things stand.
I still think it's too early to call, because there's still two and a half innings, or 2 and a third innings to play out in this game, and Surrey have that factor of batting fourth, which will not be easy. Gromveld is now taking over from Overton up at the pavilion end, just going through a couple of warm-up exercises with Overton. Operating from the pavilion end, right arm over. He's in to Sangakkara, he leaves alone outside the off stump, and there's no run.
Yeah, the problem's going to be just looking at it in the round. These matches going on at the moment, if Middlesex lose, then it makes it very, very interesting at Taunton next week. If they win, and if Yorkshire beat Warwickshire, which is also a possibility.
Gromveld is in, Sangakkara leaves alone outside the off stump again.
Then it's not going to look great for the Siderman.
Yes, the thing is, what you've got to believe in a situation like this is you still hold the opportunity in both hands, in that they can still win this game, and that will give them every opportunity next week. Gromveld into Sangakkara, who defends, back to the bowler. I mean, on that first day, 269 looked light, and then you said something very interesting, I thought, yesterday morning, Stephen, was you felt that the way in which Surrey had navigated that final little session on the first day might be the key factor of this game, because I think Stephen Davis had mentioned to you that they could have had Surrey 6 down in that period. Escaped unscathed. Here's Gromveld into Sangakkara, who's working on the onside. The bowler feels in his follow through, but they clamber through for a single. Good running from this Surrey pair.
Yeah, it's funny how you get these little sessions, don't you, of play when that they fade into the background and you don't always know how important they are in the overall context of the game.
Yes, always interesting when you get a game played out across the best part of 400 overs, and yet these half an hour, 45-minute spells can be so critical. The Ricky Clark one, of course, on that first day. Surrey navigating to the close on that first day. Ricky Clark on strike. Here's Gromveld. He's in. Clark, who leaves alone outside the off stump. There's no run.
Yeah, I think if I had to pick a man of the match at the moment, it's far too early, of course. But with all due respect to Kumar Sangakkara and that wonderful achievement, he's still out there. I think I'd give it to Ricky Clark.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean. And this is a valuable hand. It's 20, but this partnership, 45 so far. Gromveld into Clark, who defends on the front foot, back to the bowler, and there's no run. Yes, it's been a solid start this morning. 34 added in 37 minutes between these two. Sangakkara has built his score up to 133. He started this morning on 119. Ricky Clark started one not out. He's gone up to 20. And you can sort of feel the tension out there. Somerset's body language is not resigned, but it's not as it was to start off with. They easily would have hoped that they would have navigated another dismissal by this stage.
Yeah, the lead is coming up towards 3 figures as well now.
Big factor. Now we've got a change of bowling up here. Don Bass, the left armour, has been given a run out from the Vauxhall end. Sangakkara is on strike. Just having a little look at the field that surrounds. Trigo up at mid-on. Overton being put back to mid-off. There's a slip Trescothick. And just swapping them over. Trigo coming up to mid-off. Overton moving. I guess Overton might be posted back at some stage, so the taller man in the slot. He's currently about 3/4 of the way back. Here is Bess and bowls and drives up the ground. And there is one run. Sangakkara jogs through. Did I say left armour?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think I might have done. The right-handed Don Bess, I should say, the right armour.
Yeah, it's the first time he's bowled from the Vauxhall end.
Yeah.
We haven't seen too much in the way of spin, have we?
No, we haven't. We've seen a few overs from the pair, but not many. Ricky Clark is the man on strike. Bess operating right arm round. Ricky Clark, who leaves alone. The ball just ricochets into the leg side, and there's no run. Trescothick under the helmet. Here is Bess again. Here's in, bowls down the track, smeared by Ricky Clark. Calculated shot. Evades Peter Trigo up here at mid-off, mid-on. Nice shot from Ricky Clark. Another boundary for him. He goes up to 24, 367 for 6.
Lead is 98.
Yeah. Is that the 50 partnership? It is, yes. 50-50 between these two. Very impressively brought up as well. Calculated striking by Ricky Clark. Here is Bess again. Right arm round and turn! Extravagant turn. Back into the Ricky Clark, who's looking to try and punch through the offside. Not going to get a great deal of value against that kind of delivery. Bess again, right arm round. He's in to Clark, who leaves that one alone outside the off stump, and it doesn't turn as prodigiously as the one before.
Arm ball.
Yeah. Yeah, good one.
Gareth Batu will be watching this.
Well, he will, with great interest. Here Here is Bess again to Clark, who's down the track, getting there on the full toss and works it up to Trigo at mid-on, and there's one run. That score goes up to 368. That lead up to 99. End of the over. Yes, Sangakkara is on 134 not out. Ricky Clark on 25 not out. He'll remain on strike. Yeah, bit of turn, isn't it? That was a lovely bit of bowling actually from Bess. As he said, the one that just went straight on, and prior to that, the big turning off spinner back into Ricky Clark, who's looking to force on the offside, which is exactly what you want.
It's a very stiff breeze blowing across the ground this morning. Those flags, they're a very good measure, aren't they?
Yeah.
Up at the top of the pavilion, they're fluttering as enthusiastically.
They are indeed. Here's Gronveld into Ricky Clark. He works it to mid-wicket and there's no run.
As they have at any stage of the game. Yeah. That Somerset one still isn't quite right, is it? It's not quite at the top of the bowl.
It's sort of at three-quarter. Three-quarter mark. Yes, it's not sort of full of grace, it has to be said. Here is Gronveld into Ricky Clark, who's pushing forward, and the ball ends up skewing down to fine leg. They get through for a single. Certainly honours with the bowler on that occasion. 369, that's the lead of 100, which is huge in the context of a fairly low-scoring thriller here. 269 Somerset posted. Surrey now up to 369 for 6. Sangakkara, of course, always gives the opportunity of being above par. That's the big factor here. Take his 134 out. Very different game. Sangakkara on strike. Gronveld is into Sangakkara, who works it on the onside. Nice bit of batting this. Run through for a single. Nothing Overton can do up at mid-on to stop that one. Score ticks on again, 370 for 6.
Yes, there's just no visible assistance for the seamers as yet.
The pitch definitely got better last week, but it was a totally different animal to this. This is a sparkling wicket for cricket. Here is Gronveld into Ricky Clark, who's forcing into the offside. Nice looking shot, but fielded at extra cover. There's no run. Yeah, I mean, if the I think Somerset would be happy if it flattens out and they're able to get a good bulk of runs in that third innings, because it is turning. And you think Leach alongside Bess would be a very, very awkward. Even, to be honest, if there was 140 a chase, something along those lines. Here is Gronveld into Clark, who just nudges it into the onside, and there's no run.
Yeah, I mean, you do generally see, unless you get pitches that flatten out as the game goes on, which can happen at Taunton.
I mean, that ball that really turned into Ricky Clark, it didn't land in the footmarks because it's wide of the off stump, and there's not much to work with there, so that's just the pitch wearing. Batting fourth will be very, very difficult. Gronveld into Ricky Clark, wide of the off stump. Ricky Clark leaves alone. End of the over, 370 for 6. But there's obviously, before we even get into the realms of Somerset batting again, they still have to take these 4 final Surrey wickets, who are staring down the barrel of 400.
And they need to get on with that to ensure that there is a fourth innings.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Well, that's the thing. Surrey will be thinking, well, there's still an opportunity of them just batting the once, or potentially just a marginal or a minor chase early on the 4th day. Plenty of water to go under the bridge. Slip in a backward point. Here is Bess, right arm round, defending is Sangakkara. And he does have a few footmarks to work with outside the off stump of Sangakkara here. Bess to the left-hander. Bess again is into those foot marks and squeezed back with a square by Sangakkara. It's not quite where he wanted it to go. They get through for a couple of very fortuitous runs. 372 for 6. Sangakkara up to 135, and that just suggests how difficult life is going to become. Gareth Batty will be licking his fingers looking at these scenes currently. Here is Bess again to Sangakkara, who cuts beautifully backward square. That is a lovely shot from Sangakkara. Played it very, very late indeed, and once it beaten backward point, it was always 4 runs. Terrific batting. Sangakkara goes up to 141, 376 for 6 the score.
Yeah, I think the high point for Somerset in this game, looking back so far, is when they were 96 without loss.
Yeah.
They were nicely set up then, weren't
Well,
they?
they were.
When you think of what you need in the first innings here, generally.
Always playing catch up. Here is Bess to Sangakkara, who's down the track, driving up and over extra cover. This is lovely batting from Sangakkara. That ball runs away over the ropes. Terrific shot from him. He goes up to 145. That score up to 380 for 6, and Sangakkara just sensing that the game is here and now. 111 the lead. Marching on now this morning. Here is Bess to Sangakkara, who feigns to come down the wicket and then plays it circumspectly on the front foot, and there's no run. Yeah, next immediate milestone is Sangakkara's 150 potentially here. Here is Bess to Sangakkara, who's driving up as far as Trigo is concerned. He's down the pitch as well with that. Get through for a single. 381 for 6 at the end of the over. It's been a very useful passage, this. 53 added in the course of the 50 minutes so far this morning, Stephen.
Yeah, I saw Kumar Sangakkara briefly yesterday evening while I was waiting for an interview, leaving the players' enclosure at the opposite end of the ground. 1 or 2 silvery hairs, I noticed. Nothing grey about his performance out there with the bat.
Wow. Well, indeed, still in rich form, isn't he?
Silvery knock.
Yeah, well, it is, isn't it? It's a classy knock. Retain the strike, Sangakkara, on 146 not out. Just the one slip gully. That's Overton. Here is Grombel to Sangakkara, who's working it up to mid-on. To the left of mid-on. They get through for a single. Score goes up to 382 for 6.
Peter Trigo made the point on interview, actually. Mixed feelings watching Sangakkara bat, because he's one of the all-time greats.
Yep.
And you respect that as a player. I think that was Trigo's point. At the same time, you don't really want to see it, because he's batting for the opposition.
Yeah, absolutely. Very mixed emotions. But it must be a wonderful, I always think it's a wonderful opportunity to play against these icons. Here's Grombel to Clark, who leaves alone outside the off stump, and there's no run.
Yeah, I don't. The best I know of that is a game in which Paul Terry was playing, the former Hampshire player. I was keeping wicket, and I had a pretty close-up view of his quality and his class. Not in Sangakkara's league.
Oh, a good player nonetheless.
Yeah.
Well, Sangakkara's on a slightly different planet from everybody. Here is Ricky Clark pushing into cover, and there is no run.
He's a genius, isn't he?
Oh, you look at that generation of players, don't you, across the board. The likes of... We had Sangakkara and Jayawardene together, really, didn't you, alongside Ponting.
Great mates.
Yeah, Ponting, Callis, Tendulkar, Lara. All incredible players. Here is Grombel to Ricky Clark, who's playing with soft hands into the gully. Trigo does the fielding, there's no run.
Probably going to be a heresy to say it, but of the two, Sangakkara and Jayawardene, there was a wonderful touch that Jayawardene had He played a little bit for Somerset last year, actually.
Yes, he did pop in, didn't he?
He was hugely watchable,
Yeah.
as of course was Brian Lara.
Oh, yes. Here is Gromwell to Ricky Clark. And there's no run. Yeah, Bumble was asked the other day. He's a good student of the game, of course. Player, umpire, and now commentator across TV and radio. Who are the best 3 players he's seen of all time? And he said they're all West Indian. Here is Gromwald.
Can I guess?
Yeah, he's in to Clark, who pushes into extra cover and there's no run.
I'd certainly say Richards.
Yes. And I think you'll get the other 2. Generations apart is the clue.
Well, you've got to say Sobers.
Sobers, yeah. There you go. And you'll probably
And
get the other
I've
one.
already said.
The other one you've already said, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah, I wouldn't
all
argue with
3,
that.
All 3, yeah, Sobers, Richards and Lara, you reckon? And I must admit, it's tough to look past those 3. Never saw Sobers, he was way before my time.
I just did.
Did
Just
you?
caught
Yeah.
him, tail end. He made a big 100 against England in 1973 at Lord's. 150, I think.
He could do just about anything, Sobers, couldn't
Oh,
he?
he could, yeah. Oh, he's the first pick.
Here is Best. Sangakaru's down the track, driving through extra cover. There's a man back on the rope now. Jog through for a single.
In my all-time 11 of players I've seen,
Yeah.
you've got to pick Sobers first.
Yeah. Well, Freddie Flintoff, on a podcast the other day, was not prepared to offer that Sobers was a great. I think has regretted that statement ever since.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've had the argument recently about Sobers and Callis and all those other all-rounders of, just after the Sobers era. Imran Khan.
Here is Bess, who's over the wicket. Ricky Clark driving down the ground. Beautiful shot between the stumps and mid-on. It's lovely batting. Got to the pitch of the ball, did Ricky Clark. The ball just tumbles just below us in the commentary box. Clark goes on to 30, 387 for 6.
Richard Hadley, Ian Botham, Kapil Dev. I always go for Sobers.
Yeah, there's a good selection there. I think, well, with the likes of Hadley and Khan and Akram, they're bowlers who can bat, probably, aren't they? It's a useful batting nonetheless. Here is Bess, round the wicket to Clark, who's driving to extra cover, and there's no run.
Yeah, of that group, the contemporaries, Imran Khan, Richard Hadley, Ian Botham, Kapil Dev, if I was picking one at their very best, I think I'd pick Botham.
Yep. Here is... Oh, lovely shot from Ricky Clark off Bess. It's a fraction short. And he's just stood up on the back foot and laced it square the wicket on the offside. That is lovely batting from Clark. He goes up to 34, 391 for 6.
I think in terms of career overall and contributions made, and I include captaincy in that, and improvement with the bat, I think I go for Imran, actually.
Oh, wonderful player. Well, of course, played in that World Cup final, age 40. Amazing performance. Bess into Clark, who's sweeping backward a square. Another boundary for Clark. 3 in the over. And this is superb from Ricky Clark. He goes up to 38. 395 for 6, and that lead is stretched now in the blink of an eye up to 126.
Yeah, the other thing about Imran was that he came very close to leading Pakistan to victory against the West Indies when they were at their very best.
Incredible bowler.
And he improved with age as a batsman.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Well, he's got a massive double 100, hasn't he? Imran Khan for Pakistan. Still a bit of the over to go, one delivery to come.
Mike Proctor played for the rest of the world against England in 1970.
Here is
This really is going back.
Here is Bess into Ricky Clark. I sat next to him the other day, actually, at at Lord's for lunch. Fascinating chat about that series.
Gary Sobers, in one of those games, he got 180 odd, and then I think it was 6 for 21, bowling in all sorts of different ways.
Incredible, he could do just about anything. So it was end of the over. 395 for 6. Sangakkara tantalisingly on 148.
Talking about all-rounders, though, you know, Mike Proctor, he doesn't get full value because he didn't really get the chance to play Test cricket for any length of time.
Yeah.
Wonderful performance for Gloucestershire. Led them to 2 one-day cups.
Here is Sangakkara, who's on strike on 148. Groneveld from the pavilion end. Field a bit more spread now. Men back, square either side, just the one slip and a gully. Here is Groneveld, is in to Sangakkara, he pushes respectfully back to the bowl and there's no run. Yeah, Trescothick at first step, Hildreth now at gully. There's a backward point. 2 men either side, out on the boundary, and Trigo just below us at a sort of very square, fine leg. Here is Groneveld again. Into Sangakkara, who's clipping nicely up to mid-wicket. There'll just be the single. Score goes up to 396 for 6. Sangakkara on to 149 and lead 127. That's probably the most important figure of all.
Very much so.
And who would be your favourite, Stephen, of all of that lot? Favourite
of the all-rounders?
Well, yes, I could bowler, batsman, all-rounder. There you go. Might come to wicket keepers if we have time. Might struggle. 2 minutes of my stint left. But
I've got an answer.
Groneveld is in to Ricky Clark, who defends, and there's no run.
Alan Knott.
Not as keeper. Yeah.
Not as overall favourite player.
As overall favourite player.
Yeah, original hero. Took up wicket keeping because of him.
Yeah. How many hundreds did he? Was it 7?
5. 5 Test hundreds.
Terrific effort.
Batting at 7 as well.
Yeah.
And most of them in difficult circumstances, which is what you have to do if you bat 7.
Absolutely. Well, in the era, I guess, of the West Indies just coming to the boil, Lillian Thompson knocking around for Australia.
And there was an amazing match-saving innings in the Caribbean. It wasn't 100.
Here is Groneveld, and it's worked up to mid-on to Overton by Ricky Clark, and there's no run.
It was a game that went right down to the wire. Now, I only heard about it afterwards, actually. But it was a match-saving effort, and it was down to Jeff Jones at number 11.
Ah, so this would have been 69, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Last time England, well, before they won in 2003. Here is Groneveld in to Ricky Clark, who again works up to Overton and mid-on, and there's no run.
Yeah, from memory, they'd won on Gary Sobers' declaration earlier in the series. And had they lost the last game, it would have been 1-1. And Alan Knott had a good stand with Colin Cowdrey, but wickets had fallen, and they decided, I think with about 3 overs left, that I'll come back to it.
Groneveld again is in from the pavilion end to Clark, who's pushing to extra cover, ends up at mid-off, and there's no run.
One of them took Sobers and the other took Gibbs. I forget who took who. But they had a chat and they decided on that, and they saw it through between them. And I interviewed, years later, I interviewed Alan Knott, and he said he thought that that was the most important innings that he played for England.
Yes, fascinating stories about a wonderful player, wonderful series as well. After a few words, I'm done for the timing. After a few words from Stephen Lamb, Mark Church will rejoin in the commentary box.
Yeah, the other famous innings that he played was at Trent Bridge in 1977, which was the game in which Derek Randall, the local hero, Nottinghamshire of course, was run out by Geoffrey Boycott. And England were in terrible trouble. Can't remember exactly how bad. 5 wickets down for 70 odd. But in came Alan Knott to join Boycott, and they both got hundreds. And it turned the series in England's favour, an Ashes series. 396 for 6. 149 Sangakkara.
I don't know what you think, Mr. Lamb. I always think Alan Knott would have been an unbelievably good T20 player, the way he batted. He was slightly ahead of his time, wasn't he, with the way he batted? Wonderful wicket keeper, but also the way he batted.
Do you want to take this delivery, Mark? Because Sangakkara's on strike on 149.
Ah, I will do if you want me to, but I'm more than happy for you to,
I'd be
Mr. Lamb. Go
delighted
on,
for
off
you
you
to.
go. Go on. Oh, go on, sir. I've been lucky enough to do a few of them this season. So
Fair enough.
You
But you didn't do any of them
take
against
the
Hampshire.
reins. You take the reins.
Wonderful discussion yesterday evening, if you heard it. Even if you didn't hear it, it was still wonderful, between Messrs Church and Barron about Sangakkara's hundreds and whether he scored one against every county. Tom Abel is in, bowling to Sangakkara, and this is going to be it. 150 for the Sri Lankan legend. Bat raised, and you can hear the applause. It's not quite as full, the ground, at the moment as it was when he went to his 100 yesterday, but there are still people standing over at the pavilion end. Tiered seating in front of that famous old oval pavilion. Well played, Kumar Sangakkara. 228 balls, 16, 19 fours.
Yeah, we've spoken about his genius with the bat in hand, but also the thing about him is match situation.
Abel bowls this time to Clark. Yes, it's one of the key things, isn't it? Players always talk about playing the situation. That's outside the off stump and goes through to Steve Davis. But the situation, if you compare it now with when he came in, says it all, really, doesn't
Well,
it?
it does. And the two things here. He knew with Ollie Pope last night, cash in the bank against the older ball.
This from Abel is driven straight to short extra cover, and Eddie Barham, no run.
And the other thing is this morning, he knows how important this morning is. So he's come out this morning and started all over again. And he's getting, Ricky Clark's having a terrific all-round game.
In goes Abel. This is driven straight and well stopped by the bowler. That was great reaction fielding from Tom Abel. I still don't quite understand why he hasn't shown a little bit more faith in Jack Leach. In again.
Oh,
Driven. And that looked for from the moment you heard the noise of the ball on the bat up to long on. They're killing Somerset, these two, at the moment. Sangakkara 150, Clark 42, 400 up for Surrey. That's what Somerset needed in their first innings, and they fell short.
yeah, I agree with everything you said so far in this game, Mr. Lamb, bar one thing. I thought Craig Overton bowled beautifully this morning from that pavilion end, and he was making life very tough for both of them, but they got through that patch.
Abel in, and this is going to be 4 more, down to backward point. Played it very late, Ricky Clark there, and consecutive boundaries. He's gone rapidly on to 46. Yeah, Craig Overton didn't...
He lost his patience, and I can fully understand why. Because he went past the inside edge, he went past the outside edge, he got the ball to climb, he got the ball to nip away, the odd one kept low, and then I think just through sheer frustration, he banged a couple in short. Clark went for the pull on the first one, and it shot off the top edge over the slips, and the second one just stuck in the pitch. So I thought Overton bowled brilliantly this morning, and I had just no luck. Had no luck whatsoever. But take that out of it, Ricky Clark's played very well this morning. But Sangakkara, it's spotting situations. And I remember when he first arrived at the club, a stupid question from me, but I asked Gareth Batter, you know, you'll obviously be tapping into his experience. And he said there won't be many cricket situations he hasn't actually been involved in. Which is, and if there is, it hasn't been invented yet. So he knew last night and yesterday that older ball before the new ball came, time to cash in. Got through to stumps last night, it's come in this morning, started again, and now Surrey find themselves in a mighty fine position. You know, a lead of 136, but Clark has kept him company. Clark, a very experienced player as well, and I think the one thing for Somerset, it was still in the game, but the one thing for Somerset, even with the pitch offering a lot more than last week, if you win the toss and bat here first and you're under 300, you're always trying to catch the game up.
Yeah. Like we said on day one, almost invariably, when you win the toss, you bat first here, and you need to get all those 5 points. I know they're only bonus points, but it comes to the same thing, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think the other thing is, it's just this sort of situation now, and in that third innings when you're a long way behind, it looks such hard work of a game just to get to parity.
Yeah, it's mere detail actually, but Surrey have missed out on their 5th batting point simply because we've gone beyond the 110 overs.
Interestingly as well though, wasn't it, that Sangakkara hit that boundary in the 110th over to sneak them across 350 just to pick up an extra point. Now look, you wouldn't put it past him to have a quick look at the board and see that and realise and hit a boundary. He's that good, Sangakkara, and it's just cricket awareness, isn't it?
In comes Grunewald, and this is smashed by Sangakkara almost disdainfully up to the pavilion for 4. Cross-batted heave, and that will be his 21st boundary. One of them a 6, the remainder 4s. He's gone on to 154 as Grunewald is in again, and just dabs that down on the leg side, Sangakkara, and will take a single.
Just to say that Ricky Clark started this game on 9,856 first class runs. Now it would be a heck of an innings if he went past the 10,000.
Be a heck of a game, wouldn't it, altogether?
Absolutely, but he is also approaching 4,000 first class runs for Surrey now, and of course he's picked in this game 100th first class wicket, 400th first class wicket, so he's having a good game, is Ricky Clark.
Here comes Grunewald. Oh, there's a little poke here outside the off stump from Ricky Clark. That's about the least convincing stroke he's attempted.
He hasn't made a 50 since he's come back to Surrey, Clark. Well, beautifully obviously, but hasn't really made the runs. But in this situation again, he's so experienced, Ricky Clark.
Grunewald, the pavilion behind him, bowls and Clark defends. Back to him. Reasonably bright day here at the Kia Oval. High cloud, no sun as yet, but no need for floodlights, which have been used on each of the first 2 days. This is played back to Tim Grunewald, who does a rather balletic take. The ball bounces and looked like it might balloon over him.
Elsewhere, Lancashire 75 for 4, but Hamid's just had to leave the field, I think after taking a blow to his hand, batting. So Hamid's had to leave the field of play. 75 for 4 Lancashire.
In comes Grenville, that's outside the off stump. They're a wonderful team, Lancashire. Always wanted them to do well.
It's not quite go according to plan at the minute. They are out at the Aegeus Bowl, and Essex 222 for 3. Dan Lawrence, that'll be good to watch. 85 not out, and Bapara 55 not out. So Essex lead by 44 runs. Strange looking sort of scorecard. 254, 76, 222 for 3. Should make you think the pitch is getting better at the Aegeus Bowl. That's happened before. Warwickshire and Yorkshire. Latest I've got here is that Warwickshire 102 for 2. They lead by 25.
410 for 6 in the meantime here. Surrey as Tom Abel starts a new over. And this is just played gently out on the offside by Sangakkara.
Oh dear.
He doesn't look remotely like being dismissed.
Well,
Sangakkara.
So much time, even in these situations. Well, they haven't got out. That day 3's gone already at Derby at Chesterfield, so they haven't bowled a ball yet. Derbyshire and Kent, due to a wet outfield, I think.
Away goes Abel. It's outside the off stump and stroked out to backward point. It's a poor delivery, really.
Yeah, there'll be no play before lunch on day 3 because of the wet outfield, so hopefully they might get out for a bit of cricket after lunch, but that doesn't look promising, does it? If it hasn't dried up by now in the 3rd day, then you wonder if it ever is going to.
It's more than halfway through.
Yeah, is it really worth it, everyone?
Abel bowls, and it's going to be a single here for Sangakkara as he pushes it out to Peter Trigo at mid-on.
And Vish from Cricinfo has said that the reason that they can't play that game, I've got to get this right, hang on, let me find it, it's because of a concert taking place.
This is outside the off stump from Abel and played to Craig Overton at backward point, no run.
Yeah, so Derbyshire moved the game so they could host a Boys Own concert last Saturday, so that's why they moved the game to Chesterfield. Oh dear. And now they've had no play due to a wet outfield.
That's a shame, isn't it? It's
It's
a lovely ground, Chesterfield.
It is, lovely ground.
But helps if you can play cricket on it. This is down the leg side. It's going to be leg byes, I fancy. 2 of them heading down towards the pavilion, being chased by Marcus Trescothick. They were thinking about a 3rd, but wisely decided not to. And a little tap of the hand on the right knee from Steve O'Shaughnessy. 4-1-3 for 6. Lead inching up towards the 150 mark. More leg byes here as Abel again strays down the leg side. Just the one of them.
Yeah, and from you see Somerset now have a major issue in that they've got to try and stop runs, but the best way of getting back in there is to bowl Surrey out. But now this partnership is approaching 100. The lead is 145 now for Surrey, and well, Messrs Sangakkara and Clark will be saying to themselves, let's bat till lunch. Let's keep going till lunch. I think lunch today, thinking logically about this, will be 10 minutes late. I think, I may have this completely wrong, but I seem to remember 12:40, each session will be 10 minutes later for the half an hour. So it'll be a 12:40 luncheon today. It's lamb, by the way, everybody. Lamb today.
Sounds nice. Tim Groenewold starts a new over, and there's a play and a miss here from Ricky Clark. It's been a rarity this morning. When you think of the amount of times the batsman played and missed in that 14-over session at the end of day one. Compare that with this morning.
If I was a Somerset batsman, though, standing at the moment, I wouldn't be best pleased to see that. That's done enough to keep you interested, definitely.
And again, Groeneveld, and Clark is forward this time, defending. There just doesn't seem... I don't know. It changes, doesn't it?
But well,
over the course of a game.
But the thing is, if you look, then runs yesterday morning. If you take in the 14 overs, of course, on the first night for the Surrey innings, runs yesterday morning, runs on the first morning, runs this morning. So the morning might be the time to bat.
This is pushed into the offside by Clark for a single.
Hooray, I've got something right. Thank you to Mr. Rain over the other side of the ground who's listening in. And it's Mr. Rain that keeps us up to date on the scoreboards. Does a brilliant job, but yes, I'm correct. Hooray. Lunch 12:40, tea 3:30, finish time 6 o'clock tonight. Ooh.
Back to the usual time then.
Well, exactly. It's you know, well worth starting at 10:30. Still finish at 6.
We were talking about all-rounders earlier on, as Groeneveld comes in, and that's defended back to him. Robert Blackwell tweeted, "Understand, but what about Jacques Callis? Look at the stats."
Yeah.
And the stats say a lot about Jacques Callis.
Wow. Well, you tend to forget how good he was, because you could bung him the ball at any point, and he'd come in and bowl quick for you
And take you a
and
top
take
wicket.
your wickets. Yeah, amazing.
This is another play and a miss. This time from Sangakkara, which is unusual.
Yeah,
He's looking to flay it through the covers.
Hasn't been too many full shots really this morning from Sangakkara, and that one he's down on one knee, Caribbean-esque, looking to drive through cover point. Of course, he's just come back from the Caribbean, so he's in that sort of mode, I think, now.
Brian Lara played a few drives like that.
I watched a whole programme on him last night over McCorn Flakes.
Gets that one right, Sangakkara, and out to deep extra cover. Eddie Barham is the sweeper out there. They take a comfortable single. I just go back, fine all-rounder, great all-rounder, though Callis was. I still come back to Sobers because of
absolutely
the variety in his repertoire.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is, again, Sobers was ahead of his time, really, in the way he played his cricket. Imagine him now, with the advent of T20. Wow, how much would he be worth in the IPL? But Lara, it was that ridiculous backlift, wasn't it, from Lara? Absolutely ridiculous backlift.
Tom Abel starts a new over from the Vauxhall end. And there's an appeal for LBW from Stephen Davis and Marcus Draskothic. Absolutely nothing from the bowler. I think he got outside the line. Who's your favourite cricketer, Churchy? Overall? Batsman, bowler, all-rounder,
what a good question.
wicket-keeper?
What a good question. Batsman Tim Robinson. Said that before.
Old man Robbo. In goes Abel. This is swung high in the air. Could be a catch. Should be a catch. Is a catch. At last, Sangakkara has been dismissed. 7th wicket goes on 157. Kumar Sangakkara didn't look remotely like getting out this morning, but he's got out to well, a rare indiscretion, I suppose you could call it. But what's indiscreet when you're on 157? 416 for 7. Listen to the applause. This is quite conceivably the last time that Kumar Sangakkara will take his leave of this great ground.
Yes, and Sangakkara makes his way off for possibly the last time here in South London at the Kia Oval. And yes, You can probably hear that. Everyone clapping, everyone on their feet. He goes up the steps. In typical Sangakkara fashion, he looks a bit annoyed that he's got out for 157, but what a wonderful innings. And every Surrey player up there on the balcony as well. I tell you what, Somerset will be glad to see the back of it though. 416 for 7. every Somerset player there in the huddle was applauding as well, but they'll be thinking, well done Kumar, retire well, but thank God you're out this morning. 157 for Sangakkara, and wonderful innings. Good catch from Leach, wasn't it? It was up there for a while. It was eminently droppable, that from Leach at this stage and in this situation, but absolutely wonderful innings.
The other thing is that I can say now is that he's fallen 14 runs shy of the innings he played against Somerset here last year.
Yes,
in April last year.
I'm sure Johnny Barron's got some stats for us away to our right that he'll be coming up. Any history there, Barron, with Kumar Sangakkara there? That no history in that innings. Has he? Yeah. You're not tweeting that though, are you? Today. So, who's out here? Gareth Batty's out with Ricky Clark. So Batty comes out now. But what an innings from Sangakkara.
Tremendous. What a way to take your leave.
Absolutely.
If that's what he's done. It's quite possible. One more game for Surrey, which will be up at Old Trafford next week. Tom Abel is in, and that's outside the off stump, just shaping away a fraction. We've not seen a lot of that this morning. Floodlights are coming on. It has got greyer.
Yeah, it has got a bit gloomier.
Steve O'Shaughnessy is looking up to the skies and around as Abel runs in. Bowls to Clark, who just jabs a bat down on this one that's outside the off stump. Sangakkara's stats: 238 deliveries. Caught Leach, bowled Abel, who's on his way in again, and that's on middle and off, and defended firmly. Yeah, 238 balls, 1 6, big 6 off Dom Bess into the pavilion yesterday, and 24s.
It's a nice wicket for Abel as well, isn't it?
He bowls again. This is driven, fielded at short extra. I'm not sure whether you could necessarily put it down to the quality of the delivery.
It was a little light when Sangakkara was looking for that record of the 6th consecutive championship 100 at Chelmsford. And Tom Wesley caught and bowled him on 80 odd. And Wesley looked really upset. Very apologetic that he'd ruined the record. But yeah, look, Somerset will just be glad to see the back of him. Surrey 147 the lead. I'm sure Gareth Batty will come out and be pretty positive. But with the lights on as well, I don't think there's. I didn't hear any talk of rain today in this part of the world. So I think we'll be okay.
Groeneveld's going to continue from the pavilion end. Just have a check on the forecast in a minute in response to that. It is quite grey. This is down the leg side, taken by Davis.
Just getting back to your question about, so favourite batsman for me, Tim Robinson. Best all-rounder, both of them. Just because of his catching as well.
Stood close at second slip.
Brilliant.
Here's Groeneveld. And this is pushed out to mid-wicket, no run.
And bowler, do you know, there'd be two for me. Do you remember Bruce Reid?
Tall Australian.
Yeah, I used to love watching him bowl when he was fit, poor fella.
Grenville turns at the end of his run and is in. This is driven by Batty through extra cover for 4. Nice way to get off the mark.
And I'd have to, for me, because I enjoy watching how bowlers work batsmen out, it would have to be Warne. Just by the way he would work players out, move them around the crease and then get rid of them. So probably, yeah, I would say Bruce Reid I loved. That 86, 87, that sort of period. Left arm, tall, and probably Warne. It's an eclectic mix though, isn't it?
Grenville is in, and that's defended up to mid-on. What about your favourite England bowler?
England bowler? Genuinely, and this will surprise a few people, I used to love watching Graham Dilley bowl. Because of the action, really, as much as anything.
Here comes Grenville, and this is pushed out to deep extra cover by Batty for a single.
And I'm not going with, obviously Jimmy Anderson is, you know, the best England have had in terms of wickets and everything. It's the one night, so like Tim Robinson, I loved watching him bat. Both of them, I love watching him bat, bowl and catch. Bruce Reid, I love watching him bowl. Warne, I love watching him bowl. England bowlers, Graham Dilley probably.
Yeah.
Or Derek Pringle. Don't look like that.
I wasn't.
No, Barron. Way to our right.
This is played down to long leg. For a single. 4-2-1 for 7. At the end of the over, Clark is on 47. Batty's on 5. Yeah, I'd go, actually, sort of best batsman I've seen, undoubtedly Viv Richards.
Yep.
But I think the batsman I most enjoyed watching in full flow was David Gower.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah, they'd be up there. But did you see, for me, at the age I was, and I've bored people about this for years, at 85, there's a series that, as a kid, you always remember, and sorry everyone, you know this, it's 85. And Robinson, I loved watching him bat. I just loved watching him bat.
Yeah, he just kept going, didn't he?
He did, but he just was just terrific then. But yet Gower, you know, you watch him all day.
Abel starts a new over, and first ball is pushed into the covers.
I also, then another one that Johnny Barron knows very well, who I thought had the most beautiful action, was Neil Foster.
Absolutely.
Had a marvellous action.
High action.
Very nice. Very high when Viv off the back foot kept slotting him for 6 at Old Trafford in that one day game.
Yeah.
Still one of my favourite shots ever was that shot from Viv. Willis looking for the Yorker, and he just stood on the back foot and put him straight back over his head.
This is played down to deep backward square by Clark for a single. 4-23 for 7.
I'm not sure there's been a cleaner strike of a cricket. I know they hit it a long way now, but just if you can see that again, it was during that 180 he made at Old Trafford, 84, wasn't it? And Willis bowls him a ball, and Viv literally just stays on his back foot, gets the front foot, little outside leg stump, and then just slots it.
In goes Abel. And this is pushed out to mid-wicket. Won't be a run there. Yeah, best bowler I've seen, I don't know, in terms of action and general sort of savvy, Dennis Lilly.
Yeah.
And the England bowler that I most enjoyed watching, I think, is Abel bowls again, and that's a play and a miss, or an edge into the pad. Ball goes nowhere. John Snow for his action.
Oh yes, yeah.
Wonderful,
wonderful action.
fluid.
Wonderful action. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, in terms of sort of aesthetics, I used to love De Freitas's action for some reason, especially when he first got in the England team.
Here is Abel. That's a good ball, which Batty plays at and misses outside his off stump. The thing about Lilly was that he just got so involved.
Wow, that was amazing. It was box office, whatever he did, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
But
the aluminium bat.
yeah,
And he aimed a kick
great.
at Javed Miandad once. There's a famous photograph.
yeah, but it's all part of it, isn't it?
Here's Abel. Had a bet on England at 500 to 1
Yep.
at Headingley, along with Rodney.
To go and get the cash.
This is pushed out to mid-wicket, no run, end of the over, 4.23 for 7. What's the lead now? 5 Batty,
154 now.
49 Clark. Yeah, that's the all-important figure. 154 in front.
That's a
Surrey.
Good lead for Surrey now. Me and Dad, of course, was absolutely dead LBW in that World Cup final to Derek Pringle and wasn't given. England would have won it. England would have won it had that been given. Absolutely plumb. Not out. He was a good player, me and Dad, wasn't he?
Yes, yes. I think I've talked for long enough. Talked enough rubbish for an hour or so.
You're the only person here who's making any sense, I tell you, with us two in the box as well. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Lamb. I think that's Johnny Barron's coming back. He's reading the paper at the moment, is Johnny Barron. And a very interesting article there by Mike Atherton that I've read. And Peter Trigo is into the attack down below us from the pavilion end. Ricky Clark on 49 is the man on strike. And the buffet bowler, the best keeper. We were doing that a bit earlier actually, and Stephen was saying Alan Lamb. Buffet bowler James Foster and Sarah Taylor for him. Our best keeper, good one that. Jeff Dujon. But then everyone says that he just kept to quicks, don't they?
The odd over from Harper.
423 for 7.
Maybe Hooper.
Not much.
Not much. Here is Trigo then. In over the wicket to Ricky Clark, and Clark turns it up towards mid-on, and there's no run. Where are we in this game, Johnny Barron? Surrey have a healthy lead.
They do. Very healthy. They'll be wanting to stretch that. They'd love another 46, wouldn't they? 200 would be a wonderful position in the game.
Turns it as Trigo. Comes bounding in again. First over is bowled from the pavilion end, I think, as this is tucked again by Clark, short of length. He's trying to get it because there's his field at the moment. He's got a deep mid wicket and a deep backward square and a mid on, so there's a massive gap out towards basically cow corner, and that's the shortest side of the ground for Clark. So he's trying to get up on his toes and just punch it through there. He's on 49. Hasn't made a 50 since his return. As Clark is forward, pushing this one straight back up the pitch, and there's no run.
Well, considering we've had Kumar Sangakkara to witness across the last day and a half, arguably, I think Ricky Clark's played a couple of the best shots of the game, which are those back foot punches just backward of square. I mean, they are shots of high class.
The on drives are pretty good.
They're not bad. I mean, he's nearly up to 10,000 runs.
Over the wicket then comes Trigo to Clark, and Clark is forward, dabs this one down towards backward point. The long arms of Overton does the trick. Well, he started this game, and this thanks to Brian for all these lovely statistics in front of me. 9,856 first class runs, but for Surrey 3,926 first class runs, so there's a chance. As in over the wicket goes Trigo. There's the 50 for Ricky Clark. What a good innings this has been. Really good. To add to his 7 wickets, Ricky Clark, his first 50 on return to Surrey in the Championship. Probably his first one for a decade then. And Clark 50 and Surrey 424 for 7.
Quite interesting telling stats those actually, Church, isn't it? Because 40% of his runs he scored here at Surrey, yet only 20% of his wickets. Got better as a bowler.
In over the wicket once again comes Trigo. I think you have to remember there'll be leg by here, and leg by is the signal that he was, when he was at Surrey in his first stage of his career, he was very young, and in terms of bowling he batted higher up the order for Surrey, and in terms of bowling they used to sort of try and Well, I don't think he quite knew what his role was. Now, you know, this having a bloke like this strolling at number 8 in this situation, you know, and Warwickshire used him in that role, sort of 7-8, and then bowling your 6 overs are quick.
And yet, you know what that also tells you is, unfortunately, irritatingly, it happens to many, is England had picked him before he
picked him too early. I think
picked him too early. Yeah.
As over the wicket comes Abel, continuing from the Vauxhall end, left alone by Batty. No, that's wrong, because you can't be picked too early.
Not too early,
but before he knew exactly what his game was up to, I think. And they were also, as always happens, and happened then, of course, was he the new Botham? Is he the new David Capel? Over the wicket comes Abel, punched off the back foot by Batty, and there's no run. There was talk about R. Clarke. When was the last Ashes tour? 2013?
Yeah.
There was talk about him then as well.
Well, I think what's sort of disappointing is that in the current era, he would probably have been given another opportunity, wouldn't he, as he developed?
Yep. But I think he'd probably be the first to admit as well, as this one's left alone by Batty, taken by Davis down the leg side.
10,000 first class,
but
400 wickets. Serious.
It's serious, but
really
a lot
serious.
Of that, you know, if you look at that then, so he's approaching 10,000, 4,000 for Surrey, basically. And he's only got 100 wickets for Surrey in first class out of 400.
That's
so what I'm saying to you is we saw the best of a young Ricky Clarke, who was a bit of a tearaway and had all the talent in the world. Warwickshire saw the maturer Ricky Clarke, and I think Surrey are getting the finished product now for a couple of years. So it's worked out quite well, really.
Absolutely. The value they're getting from him right here, right now.
As Batty drives out there towards extra cover, and there's no run.
I mean, what a game this is. You look at the key protagonist in this game, Ricky Clarke, Sangakkara. But to be fair, you know, he's just observing how the script should develop. Ollie Pope, critical innings as well.
But Clarke, the 7 wickets in that first.
Oh, absolutely.
Over the wicket comes Abel, and Batty pulls off the front foot up towards mid-on. Clarke will go run out. Pulled it straight up to mid-on and backing up, and the throw's an absolute belter. And Ricky Clarke goes run out. Very good innings for 50. He just hit it too well, I think, Gareth Batty, and Clarke had sort of set off, and then the throw, I think it's Bartlett with the throw, brilliant, and Clarke run out for 50, and Surrey are 425 for 8.
Well, it's a cracking bit of fielding, isn't it, because Ricky Clarke was run out by about 4 yards in the end, but it's been a terrific hand from the original Surrey man who's returned to his hometown club. He's had a terrific match thus far. 7 wickets, 50 in the first innings, and that lead still fairly handsome as well, but Gareth Batty will be annoyed because he was going well, and really with Clarke there you're looking at 200 plus as a lead.
Hit it like a tracer, did Gareth Batty. That was the problem. And it was a brilliant bit of work, and Clarke was sort of turning around thinking about the single. Bartlett pick up, throw, hits the stumps, and he'd given up. So it's a terrific bit of work. It was Bartlett, terrific bit of work from him, and 425 for 8.
Well, moves the game on. We've got another half an hour before the lunch interval. Interesting to see who's batting at lunchtime, whether Surrey can eke that score up a little further. Already a very, very handy lead. It will take some batting for Somerset even to post 120, 130, 140 lead, which would be a challenge for Surrey batting fourth on this. They would have to bat exceptionally well.
It's going to take some time as well.
That's
the other thing.
That's the other factor.
There is a lot of time left in the game. But Surrey already leading by 156. So you 300 you're looking at this point from a Somerset point of view, because you know, chasing 150 wouldn't be straightforward. So that's going to take a bit of time, as we've seen.
Well, 300 is getting up towards lunchtime tomorrow from here. You would think, and that's a lot of batting.
Ooh, Lancashire 115 for 4 now at Lords, with Hamid off the field, poor lad, and being struck I think on the right hand while he was batting. Over the wicket then is Peter Trigo to Stuart Meeker, who drives up towards mid-off, and there's no run. Just getting back to that, so favourite wicket keeper, that's a good one. Favourite keeper.
Is it? Well, I tell you who I'd probably go for. Just because I love watching him bat. Stuart.
Yeah,
Growing up.
yeah, I can see where that's coming from. Over the wicket once more comes Trigo, driven by the right-handed Meeker out there towards extra cover, and there is no run.
Favourite player for me is it's a pretty simple one, to be honest. The reason why I love the game from the off, I think he was probably one of your heroes, knocking him out as well. Give you the initials ITB.
I've said that. He'd be my all-rounder.
He'd just be my player, full stop.
Over the wicket once more comes Trigo and Meeker, right-hander, forward, pushing up towards mid-off, and again there's no
He
run.
wrote alongside Peter Roebuck, and I think it was published in about 1978, the most incredible coaching text you could ever wish to read, certainly from a bowling point of view.
Well, the thing about Botham's batting was he had a very good technique.
Oh, good player.
In over the wicket once more comes Trigo, and this is turned leg side by Meeker. Of course, all of our Somerset listeners saw the best of him.
Well, as a bowler, though, his technique and the subtle changes in wrist position and action to bowl the inducker and the outswinger. It's a wonderful text. I wonder if anybody else has got it. I think I've lost it annoyingly, but it is the most incredible coaching manual.
2 slips and a gully for Trigo, coming into Stuart Meeker, and Meeker lets him go outside his off stump. So Meeker, who's played well in recent weeks with the bat, sort of done the night watchman role and made valuable runs. Batty chatting to Ian Gould, don't think what those two are talking about. 425 for 8.
How many he's going to get? How many LBW shouts in the third innings?
Happy testimonial chat, man. In over the wicket comes Trigo. This is left alone outside the off stump by Stuart Meeker. End of the over. 425 for 8 then Surrey, here on BBC Radio London, BBC Somerset, BBC Radio Bristol. Kumar Sangakkara gone for 157, caught by Leach off Abel, and then a brilliant bit of work from Bartlett to run out Ricky Clark for 50. But Surrey have a lead of 156. Just a reminder, lunch today will be at 12:40. Each session an extra 10 minutes to make up the half hour, you see. Even I can understand that. As Abel, couple of practice deliveries, and Batty, the man on strike, as Abel is over the wicket to Batty. Batty punches straight back up the pitch to Tom Abel, who does the fielding off his own bowling, and there is no run.
The weather forecast looks alright, isn't it, the next few days?
Yeah, I think I've been shown by a few people. Oh, you've been retweeting again, I noticed, Barry.
Have I?
Yeah, from day one. Some people have said there might be a shower about 4 o'clock today, but hopefully that's not the case.
Game will be advanced.
Abel's in to Batty, shout for LBW, gone. Batty's played all round that, swung it back in, and Batty goes for 5, and 425 for 9, and in many ways it's probably not a bad thing for the game. Wicket suddenly tumbling, and 156 the lead for Surrey, and Tom Abel has his second wicket. Batty LBW for 5, 425 for 9, Surrey.
A couple of nice ones to look back on, aren't they? Good delivery.
You'd have been pleased with that one.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely one of mine. One that tails in. Don't often get them given, unfortunately.
Bit quicker than you.
Yes. Not about the pace of the ball though, is it, Chad? That's a very good delivery by the Somerset skipper. And that card, just one more man to come in. And I guess this could be quite entertaining.
Yeah, Jade Dernbach marching to the middle. I wonder what licence he's got today. he normally gets.
I mean, it doesn't
given one of them.
Really matter the context of the game. He will bat pretty much in the same way. Having said that, last year was it at Northants alongside Sangakkara?
Oh,
Didn't he play a critical role?
Critical in that one-day game.
Going back, I'm thinking his highest, his only first-class 50 came against Northants, wasn't it? Him and Andre Nell went berserk.
Yeah, well, famously he pulled David Willey for 6, and then Chaminda Vos.
Yes, they're two big shots.
So he comes marching to the middle, Dernbach, and he will join Stuart Meeker. So there is a chance now that Somerset will have to come and have a bit of a bat before lunch.
Oh, very shortly, I'd imagine. Game of heave or leave, I'd anticipate here. I think if it's up there,
it's always entertaining.
If it's up there, it's going.
It's always, it's sort of with Abel swinging it back in. 4.25 for 9. I've just got that
cheeky the
vision of
stumps.
Perfect cover drive. At the ball hitting the stumps.
Yeah.
So, Jade Dernbach down to do some gardening. He can bat.
Well,
he
can. I'll tell you what, they've
he enjoys it as well. That's the other thing.
Mid-wicket's open.
4.25 for 9. Abel over the wicket to Dernbach. First ball short. Dernbach's in behind it.